Record. Welcome to the summer edition Project 52 Pros. We're looking at some food photography today, and pretty jazzed that so many great pictures in this group. George just came on. I'm going to unmute you there, sir. You are unmuted, so if you'll mute yourself, that'd be great. Let's get going. Ian York. Nice down from the top shot here. Ian, how are you today?
Fine, well indeed. Listening to you with your hot tea, I'm sitting in the garden, beer in my hand. Gorgeous sunny afternoon, just enjoying it.
Well, I'm going to have a beer in my hand later today, I think, if I can. I love the light on this. I like this little dark patch coming up here and the feeling of the light on the background here. Shooting down, this is what I call, this is not a technical term, it's just my term. This is what I call an everything in its place shot. The rice and the bean and the shrimp and all this stuff. This is a very time-tested, well-done type of food shooting. So kudos to you for that. The design is really nice. And your highlights, they get a little wild up here, but I think, is this natural light, like window light?
No, I was using two soft boxes.
Two soft boxes. Okay, so there's some anomalies in these bowls then. That's what's giving out the different kinds of light.
The bowls aren't perfect. There's a
glaze
on them that's not. It was seconds stuff that I bought just to make this shot. So
the non-perfect.
I'm trying to find something cheap.
Yeah, and the non-perfect stuff's wonderful.
But I found this a challenge because I've never really done a studio shot like this, and I've never done an overhead shot. And I actually tried this originally with a piece of granite and found that I appeared in the shot. So I had to learn very quickly how not to include yourself in the image.
Yeah.
My reflection.
Yeah. Very nicely. This is nicely done. So you have the softbox back right, and then looks like, oh no, back above. I can see the softbox on the cherry tomato there.
Yeah, the softbox is top and to the left.
There's one over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
With a reflector to the right bouncing back.
Okay. Fantastic. I'd love to see, and this is going to apply probably to a lot of you. It did on the other group, the other half here. A lot of people are overlighting, and I'm wondering how this shot would have looked with just one fill card on it. Get more moody, etc. But that's the stylistic thing. This looks very, very good. Looks a solid shot. Oh, back to it there. It's a solid shot. And it's well done. Nicely done. So this is the first time you've ever done it. What do you think?
I struggled for about an hour to understand the lighting. I was getting to sort of swear and curse because it's just such a new thing for me. So, and of course, it didn't help when I was using a kitchen counter, which is 3 foot off the ground, and then by the time you're trying to get overhead, you're now standing 5.5, 6 foot. So that was just understanding how you're approaching it was the problem. It was a technical problem that took a bit of time to get to grips with.
There's nothing like a good 18-inch tall little table in the studio to do this kind of stuff.
No,
it really helps.
I think that's something I'll be looking at in the future.
Good. Did you enjoy shooting this kind of still life shot?
I did actually. Yeah, once I got over the technical problems, I actually did enjoy it, and then actually put some thought into the layout. Initially, I was focusing more on how to take it, and then I thought, I better make it a bit more presentable.
Well, you did a good job. Nicely done.
Thank you.
This is a lovely shot by George. George, shooting onions is a pain, man, and you didn't lose anything on this onion. Nicely done. Looks like one big softbox, George. George is out there, but he's still muted. You're still muted, George. Okay. Well, I see him out there, but his microphone is still muted, so I'm going to... George, I'll wait and let me know if you come back on and can figure out what's going on here. We'll go to this lovely shot by Gabby Wright. Gabby.
Hello.
Hi. Little piano thing going on here. How clever.
Well, I'm actually we're currently living with my folks until we get our place, and she's a musician, and she happens to have a cutting board shaped like a piano. This is actually the back side of the chopping board. The front has a picture of Chopin, so it's a Chopin board.
Ah,
Aha. Chopping.
oh my, that happens.
Yes.
Um, this is another. Hold on. This is another in everything in its place, and that's a very again like a very substantial and very legitimate and well done thing. You went with a real stark background, which it really enhances the shape of the piano, and the keys down here being these little I guess those are garlic things. Is that what those are?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes,
That's
Scarlet Cloves.
yeah, very clever. I like the little pits here in the thing. So your lighting is what, one
Natural light, window
natural
light.
light window,
Yes.
and it's
Yes.
behind us. It's up here or to the side.
Yeah, to the side.
Very cool. Nicely done. Was this the first time you've done a shot like this?
Yes.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get more than half the people who've never done it before will fall in love with it. And some people will really have their eyes opened by it. I've had a couple really talented photographers who didn't enjoy it, and then found themselves going back to it just because of the fact that they were drawn back to it. It's like, well, I didn't really enjoy, but I really kind of want to shoot these car keys, you know. It's like, so it's kind of a fun thing. And as I've said before, the models never not show up, and their poor aunties don't die, which is something that happens on Model
They're
Mayhem a
very
lot.
cooperative too.
Yes, they're very cooperative, and they just don't give you any static. Nice shot. Okay, Damien's Irish Stew. Is this Damien Powell?
It is. Hi, Don.
Hi, how are you? Irish Stew.
On a spade itself?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So you're shooting down on this, right? Is that what we're doing? We're shooting down on it?
That's right, yeah.
Okay. And where's your light?
Pardon me. It's all natural light coming in from the left, but it's quite distant. And I've got a couple of whiteboards top and right on the image.
Yeah, I can see that the farther away it goes, the more harsh little lines we get like this, because the contrast falls away. Everything becomes flat because of the distance, but then that one specular really pops in.
Yep.
I
did actually try lighting this as well with a softbox, sort of at an angle at the top of the image coming in. But although it lit everything and it was a lot softer, it also felt quite a bit flatter in the end, and I actually preferred the natural one, so I went with that.
Yep. I think I would have, if I was the art director there on the scene, I think I would have turned it and put the light to the back instead of from the side. And you got all your stuff here. It does look a little flat to me, and I think that's probably because your light is so far away. Meat looks pretty good. Onions, always tilt your onions so that they pick up some light if you can. I just said the word always, and I hate that word. There is no such thing. But whenever I can, I'll tilt the onions so they pick up the light, because dull onions are not interesting, where this onion's more interesting because it's got a little bit of light on it. So, yeah.
Right.
First time to do something like this, Damien?
Well, I did another food shot, obviously, in the Essentials group 6 months ago.
Oh, okay.
That was it wasn't quite so contrived as this one. It wasn't so purposely put together.
Okay.
So this was kind of a new approach to a common subject for me, I think.
Good. You did a good job.
Thanks.
Let's see if Ian York can come on. Ian, are you there?
Yep, I'm on.
All right. So
I'm going to go away on holiday for a couple of weeks. I was just trying to see if I could get an iPhone to work on this system.
All right. Let's see if we can get George Villarreal. George, are you back? George? I guess I don't think your mic is working, George, because you're unmuted, sir. Okay. We'll keep checking with you, George. See if you can get that mic to work. And this shot is, I'll still look at your picture and go over it, George. I just, before I leave, I hopefully give you a chance to get on here. Brian Lawler's shot. Brian Lawler. Brian, are you here today? Yes, you are.
I am. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. Boy, this is an interesting photograph. What is that thing?
On the left is called a pie iron, and it opens up and you put your bread and the filling in it, and then you put it on a campfire.
Really? And make little pies?
Yes. Yes.
That's cool. So I recognize the bread. What is this?
Butter.
Butter.
Yeah. You got to butter the outside edges, the outside of the bread before you put it inside the pie iron, and then you put your filling inside the 2 pieces of bread.
Wow, I've never heard of that. That's very cool. Well, your light looks really nice. It's very flat across the surface, though. So I think what I would have you do is just kind of go in very gently, bring this dark area that you have right here. This is perfect. Kind of wrap it right around here. So our eyes
bring the darkness down more.
Yeah, but not over this.
Correct.
More like this.
Okay.
And not much, just a little bit, just enough to keep our eyes from, because this is the same texture, and then we get up here, it's the same texture, and it's like we're missing something, and we're not missing anything. This is a shot. You kept the texture on the bread. Good for you. Excellent work. Tell us your lighting.
Softbox overhead.
Okay.
And then have a white card down in front, and one on the right side, and then a small one up on the top left, trying to get the curve of the pie iron.
Okay. I think looking at your highlights in here, I think your softbox was too much over the top, and you could have moved it back a little bit, because we can stand a little bit more shadow coming forward from these things here.
Okay.
So we can get a real sense of depth to it. When it's right over top, we lose a little bit of depth. So just kind of keep sliding it back until you get a little bit more here, and it really reads as dimensional. Okay?
Okay.
Very good.
Yep.
Very, very cool. But bread is one of those foods that's really hard to shoot. Bread, pasta, butter, whipped cream, sour cream, those kinds of things. They're terribly hard to photograph because the light goes into them and almost makes them glow. So you're always going to work harder around breads and butters and sour creams. And in this case, could have possibly stood to have a little black card over here for that bread to kind of catch some edges of that black card.
Okay.
Yep. Very cool.
Thanks.
Very cool. George, are you back? Okay. Brady Wolf.
Good morning, Don.
Good morning. Nicely done little breakfast shot, or some sort of sausage and beans. Or
It's actually it's a 15 bean soup.
Ah, cool. Let me tell you what I like about this shot. Now, have you done this kind of work before?
No, this is my first take on it, and I really enjoyed doing it.
Kudos to you, my friend. You did it. When you do an everything in its place kind of shot, one of the things that matters the most about that is how far away you place things. it becomes a delicate dance of distance.
Oh yeah, I was moving things around and around trying to find the right spots for things.
Yep, because these onions, another half inch out, they're too far out. You see what I'm saying?
I swapped them back and forth with the lemons, and then I, finally settled on them in the background there.
And here's what you've done that works really well: the distance of this to this pile of beans, the distance of the tomatoes to the pile of beans, the garlic to the pile of beans, the sausage to the pile of beans, this little spices to the pile of beans, and the lemons to the tools here, and the lemons to the sausage is all pretty much the same. So that distance from the different items from that core of the pile of beans here all kind of remains the same. You don't have something stuck way out in the South 40 that doesn't work. So this may be the first time you've done it, but you inherently are understanding how the cohesiveness of keeping these items close enough so that they're a group, and yet far enough away that they each have their own little place, so that you could, I could see a call out here, two onions and 5 cherry tomatoes and blah blah blah, done on here, really nicely done. It's a softbox from the back.
Sort of. It's just a diffusion screen across the back with a flash behind it.
Yep, pretty much the same thing as a softbox. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just needed a little bigger box than what I've got, so it was a diffusion screen.
And in the front, we've got a fill card.
Mm-hmm.
And that's giving us this nice highlight on the sausage. Can you all see that here? Which gives us the roundness of the sausage. And the lemon really, really looks good. Nicely done.
Well, that's actually thanks to your shadow and highlight little tutorial. I went in there and worked on that lemon a bit.
We never share that.
Oh, oops.
Yeah, it works pretty well, doesn't it?
It does. It was such a subtle. When I was doing it, I was going, "This isn't doing anything," but then when I was done and I looked at it before and after, I went, "Wow!" So
that's one of the things I think that starts to separate the fine photographer from the, working at a photographer, and that is when you start realizing how many little subtle things make the shot. The big stuff is big stuff. I mean, exposure and stuff like that. But look, you nailed your exposure. We got the onion here. We got the garlic. You nailed the exposure. Now you get in and start to play with the really subtle things, and that can make all the difference in the world. Yeah, real well done, Brady. Very nice.
Thank you.
And another everything in its place shot. Again, everything's in its place, and we have that same equidistance down on here. This is Andres. Are you here today, Andres?
I am here. I'm here, Mr. Jonathan. Good morning to you. How are you?
Good. Very good. I like your placement of things. Very graphic.
Oh, thank you. I did spend a few minutes with it, though. It was a very good learning curve. It's a very interesting exercise because you take your time and you try to find a decent composition and place things in the right places and balance it out and all that. And by the time you do that, your basil starts fainting, and then you're like, oh, do I have enough basil left? Like, did I put any in the fridge, or did I do any precautions just to make sure that it's not gonna die on me? No, I didn't. So I was just lucky enough to find some basil in our backyard, which I could use for the shot. The same with like things like cheese. This mozzarella cheese you wouldn't necessarily test straight away, but it does have juice which starts running after a while. So you keep on trying to soak up the juice in one corner and try to bring this basil back to life in the other corner, and then still do your thing. But yeah, it was really interesting.
As you get into the to doing this more and more, if it's something you enjoy and you get into it, you start using fill-ins. So you know what the mozzarella cheese looks like. Just peel a potato, cut it kind of like what the cheese looks like, and get it down there. Just use that and bring the cheese out at the last. Same with these. These guys will start to fade pretty quick. Tomatoes, tomatoes can last quite a while on the set. Did you spray them here with a little bit of water?
Yeah, I did a little bit, but to be honest, by the time I took the shot, the water drops they weren't that lively, so I should have actually resprayed that. I put that down as a mistake I made during the shot. I didn't actually respray it just right before I took the picture.
Yep. And if you want to spray and not get the stuff wet around it, you get a hard piece of cardboard. Once everything's set, you pick this up, put the cardboard in, spray it, pull the cardboard out, and drop this down, and the spray doesn't get on the background. Which, if you had sprayed the background and made the background wet, first of all, this would be a problem. But second of all, it would totally change the look of the image, because then the background would be real shiny, have a lot of specular.
No, very true, very, very true.
Very nice. First time you've done something like this?
First time that I did something a little more complex than a couple of apples on a plate. So I did try to play with food before, and then just practice with the lighting really, and try to use larger scrims and larger lighting surfaces, and I did try to work the lighting out previously, but I didn't actually put that much. I didn't put my mind to it. I didn't actually do like a more complex shot before.
Yep.
But now I got excited and I actually started buying more props and putting ideas together. I'm gonna try to get into it and do more food and shoot more food in the future.
Good.
So it got me excited, and I try to do it again and again.
Yep. Another thing, you don't have to spray them in these tomatoes. I love the way the water looks here. I wish it was here. You don't have to spray them in position. Once you've got your shot nailed, you can put them back down. So you just pick them up, spray them, and then put them right back down where you had them. That should work out okay as well. And like I say, I always use sit-ins, fill-ins for delicate things. Here in Arizona, even if the air conditioning's cranked a lot, it's still warm, and the stuff has been transported, so it's got a little bit of warmth, already built into it. Nicely done. Everybody's nicely done. John McAllister. John, here today, John.
Hi, Don.
How are you?
Oh, I'm great, thanks. How you doing?
Very good. Have you done this before?
I did one before in the Essentials. It was the well, I did several actually. I did several sandwiches. If you remember the Fantastic Sandwich series some months ago.
Is this something that's interesting to you, John?
I like placing the items and then having that lighting give that extra element.
Yeah, because I think you've got some kind of natural talent going on here. This is, if all you've done is like Project 52 food shots, this is a really nicely done shot. Great idea with the paper and the wood underneath the paper, getting the highlights on the paper, brown eggs, all these wonderful warm tones, and then the green lime right in the center. Do you like shooting tabletop and stuff?
It's very enjoyable. I think, like others have said, it's time consuming.
Yeah.
trying to get the light right, getting things to look more 3D. Mm-hmm. I must admit, I also used your trick with the painting light.
No, that's
because the sugar down in the left bottom.
It's not a trick. It's the same technique we used to use in the darkroom. We're just dodging.
Yeah,
dodging it out a little.
But that sugar in the bottom left was very, very flat, and I've just lightened one side, and suddenly it's standing up.
Yeah,
as it really was, as I saw it.
Very cool. Was this one big light or natural light?
It was a 70 centimeter beauty dish with a sock on it. At the back, slightly up, and a couple of reflector boards.
Wow. I would never guess a beauty dish. That's a very, very nice looking light there. I may have to try that myself. Beauty dishes are a beauty dish. No, it's not the time for it. We'll talk another. Beauty dish really is a result. It's not the item itself. What you use with the beauty dish and when you put the sock on it you really have a round softbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's either that or an octagon softbox that I've got that I like. The Beauty Disc was more to hand.
Yeah, the octas are nice. Well done.
Thank you.
And we have a very graphic, really, really graphic shot by Miklos. This is...
Hi, Don, I'm here.
How are you, Miklos? This is really cool, my friend. This looks like a poster.
Thank you.
Now, what was your inspiration for this? Have you done this kind of work before?
No, never. This is my first attempt to do a shot like this.
Wow. It's so beautifully lit that the light is just everywhere. We got soft shadows to define these things. Everywhere we need definition, a little shadow drops in and gives it to us. And when we go over here, then of course the light falls off on that back curve and gives us definition. So these things, at first glance, you think, boy, they're just gonna overexpose. No, they don't. They hold everything we need. Little cherry tomatoes. Then this is this a liquid here in this?
Yes, it's oil.
Oil?
Oil, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
One thing, it's kind of hard to do with oil, but one thing that helps sell it as a liquid is to take a straw and blow a few bubbles into the shadow side here. So we got a couple of bubbles. Then it tells us it's liquid.
Yes, yes, sure.
Yep. Chili pepper and these great little scoops and things down here. Now, are these scoops really that small?
Yes.
Wow.
This is special for cooking.
Miklos, this is a very cool shot. I could see you doing a whole series. And what's a series? It's 6 or more pictures. 5 pictures is a group, 6 is a series. I made that up, but you can take it to heart. Oh, my little guy down there. You can, I could see a whole series of pictures lit like this. Now, how did you like this?
Sorry?
How did you like this?
I light it with one softbox, the 60 by 60 Electron portal light from left above, from the left corner above.
Yep, because we got our shadows coming just a little bit here.
Yes, yes, and at the under I use and the right down corner a white board to reflect back.
Very cool. What kind of peppers are those?
This is a green pepper.
Spicy?
No, the spicy is as a green and bottom, but this at the top, this yellow, this is very, very sweet.
Ah.
So it's a special Hungarian food. We call it lecho. It's very close to the ratatouille from French.
Oh, okay. I love the way the light looks with these little stem things here. I mean, I'm always drawn to the details, and that's just really cool. Nice, just a nicely done photograph. I'd like to see you think about doing a series of these. Be a nice portfolio piece for sure. Beautifully done.
Thank you.
Michael Kruger.
Hello, good morning, Don.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. Yourself?
Very good. This is a very interesting photograph. This is beautifully done. This is so modern. Now, what was the idea for this?
Oh, I was a little bit get lost when I did this because I played around with all these ingredients, and the recipe is a kind of super juice. They call it high flyer. So I wanted to put the beetroot as a main component because it has an interesting shape to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to play with the idea of flying, let it fly. this was my intent. But it took I don't know 50 iterations to come back to this, because I had right background, light from the other side, etc., etc.
I think a lot of people are sometimes surprised how long this stuff takes. I can do a beauty shot in less time than I can do a still life in many cases. There's just so many things that you can end up doing, and little things that make a difference, and twist the carrot this way or move the apple this way, and all of a sudden you've changed the whole dynamic of the photograph. This is very modern. I like that. I like the fact that these are against this negative space, and we have this highlight right here, which gives a shadow and everything. This is a very cool idea, Michael. I would go in with Photoshop, and this carrot's kind of funky right in here. I'd probably clean this carrot up just a little bit in Photoshop, just a little bit. We're not going to do beauty retouching on them at all, but just a little bit. And then using the highlight painting technique, paint these guys back a little bit with highlight painting.
Okay.
And they'll pop. And the same thing on this side of this, and where the highlights are here, bring them up with just 2 or 3 brushes with that 10%. 2 or 3 brushes, and take a look at it. All right. Nice idea. Really well done. Oh, and we have our first table view shot. And table view means that's the other angle that you see food shot at a lot, and that's called table view. You're sitting at the table looking across, so it's the same angle as our eyes would see. And this is Scott. Scott, are you out there? I see you. Oh, Sheila, I'm going to unmute you. Mute yourself. Sally, unmuting you. Scott, are you there? Scott, there. Scott? Nothing? Okay. That's not working, Scott. Whatever's going on there, not working. I'm not hearing you. Try it again. Huh. I can't hear anybody out there. Scott, I will I'll critique this. Hopefully you can Okay, somebody's unmuted and I'm feeding back. It's either Gabby or George. Both you guys are unmuted and I'm feeding back. So if you guys can mute yourself, I'd really appreciate it.
Hey John, can you hear me?
Or I'll have to mute you from here.
Hey John, can you hear me?
All right, good here. And Scott? All right, we have to move on. Oh, somebody's unmuted and feeding back, and the only person that's unmuted is Scott. So for some reason, Scott, you're not coming through very well at all. Sorry about that. Someone is calling your name on the mic. I'm not hearing anything, Benjamin. He's there just super low. I'm not hearing. Hello? Huh. Okay. A lot of. Yeah, I had to mute you, Scott. Lots of ticking and talking, but nothing. I'll unmute you here in a minute. We'll see if you can get that mic working. These kinds of shots, table view shots, difficult to do. Probably a little harder than the shooting straight down because you've got to take into consideration the perspective of the food at the same time. This is nicely done. The light's a little flat. Scott, I think that had we used a something back here to block this light off the background to keep it darker, we could have really freshened up the look of this. It looks a little flat to me. I'm not seeing any real highlights, and I love these mushrooms. Very cool. A little highlight across there could be very nice. Parsley is deadly unless it's super fresh. Add your parsley last and make sure it's super fresh. This parsley looks like it's sort of wilting out. We don't ever want to see the underside of the parsley, so sometimes you'll take this, lay it down, and then take the parsley stems, cut them gently, and then kind of just wedge them down in there so we see the parsley itself, not the parsley wilted. This is nicely done. Boy, you try to shoot white cheese and you kept some detail in there. That's nicely done. I love that mushroom. I love the mushrooms. I wish the light was a little punchier. And we talk about punchy light. We jump over here to this very punchy light by Tom Sebring.
Hey, Don.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. What's it like in Cincinnati today?
I'm in Columbus. It's I actually haven't been outside yet.
Ah.
I think it's raining.
Raining, yeah. Well, you guys get rain there anyway, don't you?
Yeah, we get quite a bit.
Yeah.
Just as a side note,
yeah,
the guy before, Scott, if I turn my volume up all the way, I could hear him. So he's coming through. Just his microphone is really low. So I have my
audio full.
Yeah.
And I cannot hear him. I'll try him again right now. Hold on, Scott. I'm unmuting you. Are you there, Scott? Yeah. See, I'm not getting anything. Are you getting something there, Tim?
Well, I've got a dial volume control externally, so I could turn it up really, really loud. I mean, it was blasting, and I could just barely hear a whisper. I just thought I'd let him know that.
Yeah. So this shot is kind of a soft, hard light, right?
Yeah, I actually had a big umbrella to the I guess bottom left of the scene.
Yeah.
But then I had a giant 5-foot reflector to the rear, kind of angled down towards the set.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted some highlights from the front, a little bit of shadows from the front, but the light wasn't pointed directly at the food. It was kind of shooting overhead, mostly into the reflector.
Okay.
But I did want a little bit of shadow, like on the bottle, for example.
Mm-hmm. Well, this shot, so often we see light coming from the back, and it's difficult to do lighting from the front and keep things looking fresh and exciting. You have done a pretty good job at lighting it from the front and making it look pretty cool. It has the feeling to me of a picnic. It looks like sunlight.
Actually, it was taken like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
it was
but I'm saying because of those shadows going forward, it has that sort of picnic looking thing to it. Very fresh, very modern. There are magazines that absolutely, excuse me, absolutely like to break the mold and not do the same things every time. You would see front-lit food like in Details or Wallpaper, some of those magazines where they don't want it to look like Home and Garden. They want it to look different, So I'd go back in with your highlight painting brush or go back in with Lightroom or something, and let's get some green back into this broccoli. It's a little bright.
Yeah, I did that. Actually, I guess think it was just too washed out to begin with, but I tried to the right side of the whatever that's called of the broccoli, the top part where it's a little darker. It was the color of what's on the left to begin with. So I did darken it up. I just started too bright to begin with. Yeah.
Okay. One way to make the broccoli darker is to get it wet, because then it becomes a shiny surface and it reflects those speculars.
Yeah, I had the same. You had mentioned this before. I did spray the broccoli, but I did it and took 20 shots afterwards. So by the time I got this shot, it was already dry. So.
Okay. Interesting shot. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Any shot that anything that has pepperoni in it wins my vote. We have an Everything in Its Place shot by Ty Wilda.
Morning, Don.
Good morning, Ty. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
This is a very cool shot, Ty.
Thank you.
Very designed. A lot of design going on here. And I got to tell you, you had me going there for a second, because I started going around this white thing here going, did he miss it? Did he miss it? Did he miss it? Did he miss it? You didn't miss it, dude.
No,
you kept it all the way.
Yeah. It was I had a blast doing this. But it's hard. It's obviously we've all experienced that thus far. It was really, really difficult, but I had a ton of fun doing it.
Yeah, next time you pick up a copy of Home and Garden or Real Simple magazine and you see the food in there, you kind of go, okay, have a whole new respect for these guys. Yeah.
Yep.
So these chips are hard to do. You kept this in here. I think maybe we could darken them a little bit with that highlight painting thing, shadow painting in here. And here's where it really, this shot really works, is when you get these highlights on the liquid here. So we got all this yellow here, and then we'll come over and pick up these highlights. Instantly, we know it's liquid. There's no doubt in our mind because of these highlights. You've got to, whenever you're doing this kind of liquid stuff, folks, you've got to get a highlight on it. Otherwise, it's just flat. It's just a piece of flat color. It could be, it could be Jello or it could be, a different substance. We know that this is liquid, and this catching these little edges here with some highlights really, really make it work. Is this brown meat up here, ground beef?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was hard. That was tough to do. It looked really, yeah.
You actually cooked the beef, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and see, in real recipes, we probably wouldn't cook the beef. We'd use this icky, really icky. Did I mention it was icky stuff called Bovril, Bovril? It's cow extract. I think when they get done with everything else they're going to do with the cow, they just blend it into this dark brown meat extract. You get it on your fingers, you'll wish you didn't, because it really stinks. But cooks use it. You can get it at cooking stores. So what you do is just very lightly cook the meat to get the juice, and then you put the Bovril on it, and it looks like, oh my God, that looks delicious. Yeah, don't eat it. You can eat it because it's all editable, but I think you'd probably hate me if you did. Same with steaks. We rarely ever cook a steak. We only get those like the char marks on it. Generally with a grill and a propane torch, we'll get the char marks on it. Then we'll warm it, and then we'll Bovril it, and it looks like beautiful medium rare steak, but it's not cooked really at all. So,
how do you spell that?
Bovril.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
I love your design. I think that really looks great. I think what I would do is to darken these chips a little bit with that thing, and darken this meat up here just a little bit. Bit. It looks a little gray now. Let's bring it down because it is it's the star of the stuff. And what is this?
It's just a cheese dip that a friend of mine made at a party one time, and I'm originally from Wisconsin, so hence the cheese and whatnot. I'm so stereotypical, but yeah, it's just a cheese, like a queso dip with hamburger meat. It's delicious, but yeah.
Yeah. Was this different spices?
Yeah, the garlic powder on the top and pepper on the bottom.
Cool. Very cool. Nicely done.
Thank you.
I like this one. This has got a nice feel to it. This is Tracy Sutherland. And she's muted. Let's unmute Tracy. Tracy, how are you? Nice little rim light around.
I'm good. Thanks, sir.
Nice little rim light around the edge here. This is very nice. How did you like this? It's a little bit flatter than I'd like to see it, but you know what? I know we can fix this. Are you a Lightroom user or a Photoshop user?
Both.
Both. Okay, well, either in Photoshop or Lightroom, open this back up. Well, if you're in Photoshop, open it back up as a smart object, and then apply clarity to this, and we'll get so much more snap out of it. And then the rest of it will just fall into place.
Okay.
Okay? That's really nicely done. How did you like this, Tracy?
I had a flash through a scrim, and then on the one side, well, actually, it was on the side. Sorry, I shot it the other way around. So the side has a flash through a scrim, and then the top, there's a bare flash. I was trying to pull some texture out of it.
Oh, that bare flash isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing there, because that would have been my absolute first choice on this.
When I made it stronger, I did try it with a stronger flash, and then I got a really weird shadow from the oatmeal on the bottom edge of the plate. And I ended up the shadow was irritating me too much, so I didn't use those ones.
Have you ever heard of Cinefoil?
I've heard the name.
It's a very strong, powerful, like aluminum foil stuff. You can bend it.
Okay.
You can use Cinefoil, but I also use aluminum foil. So if you took that flash and then you made a snoot out of aluminum foil, that instead of being a little round hole at the end of the snoot, it was a little like long, thin area for the light to come out.
Okay.
Maybe, a 1/4 inch wide and, 1.5 inches tall. Then you could drive that light right down the center of this. And of course, when you're using speed lights, you have no modeling light. So you got to keep flashing and flashing to get exactly where you want it to be, which I would have just turned all the other lights off and just worked on that one to get it where I wanted it. And then use the power of your main light, keep bringing it up, so when in other words, when you take your first shot, the flash is probably overpowering that little snooted flash. And then you just keep bringing your other one up, your main light up until it's just to the right point where it mixes it. I'd love to see, this is an easy shot to set up. So could you try that?
Sure.
That would be great. Try that and get it to me, and I'd love to put it in the group and show a side-by-side here.
Okay,
Fantastic.
yeah, sure, I'll try that.
Fantastic. This one took a lot of work. Whose is this? Tim Lester. Is Tim on here? He's not here? Oh, Tim, that's a shame. This took a lot of work. Wow. Tim, this is a very nicely done photograph. I wish you were here to tell us how you lit it. The light is beautiful. The styling works really well. Little things we could fix, like this opening's too big. I think I would have closed it up with these bags back here. Your chocolate chips are just about perfect. The little anomalies that you see on the bottom of these and right in here, these little chocolate chip things, fix them. We used to have to do it with by taking every chocolate chip and wiping it with a real soft cloth or a paper towel with a little bit of olive oil on it, because chocolate, when it nicks, it gets white. It gets kind of a char thing. So we just wipe them very, very delicately to get rid of all those little anomalies. Now we just simply use Photoshop if we can't get rid of them. Tim, beautifully done shot, my friend. Wow, nicely done. And we have Paul Jackson. Paul, you out there? I see your name.
Afternoon, everybody.
Yeah. So,
how you doing? Okay.
Very good. I'm doing better than I was this morning. My wife gave me a little snort off her inhaler, and I'm making it through without coughing.
Yeah, good.
Let me tell you, kids, about 6:30 this morning, I was thinking I'm gonna have to go on there and hack my way into telling him I can't do it, because I just was, I couldn't go one sentence without hacking, but I'm doing good. So So what is this? I mean, we got some shrimp, we got some sausage.
It's a chorizo and shrimp paella.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Very simple recipe that I just found wandering around a supermarket over here in the UK.
Yep.
Just grabbed some of the ingredients, went home, and tried to shoot it there and then, which was fun, to say the least.
Yeah. What's your light?
Through a window with a flash attached to the camera over the top to just try and pull back some of the shadows. I was staying at a friend's house. I didn't have any of my kit with me, so just tried to make it as best I could with what I had.
Yeah, very cool. I think you did a good job with it. I think sometimes window light can surprisingly overpower us. So you might think about getting a scrim that you could put up just at the bottom part here to keep the light little from being quite that bright there. That's very, very nicely done.
I really struggled with that light at the top, on the top of the lemon.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to block it a little bit.
Yeah.
And your little light on camera, that worked out real well. It just kind of worked out real well.
Yes, it came out better than I thought it would do, actually, because I was really struggling to get it to. I didn't quite want to go to a high key type thing, but I wanted that sort of look and feel with it. But I really struggled to get the background to stay white with all the different colours on it, because they all seem to be coming up with different shades and tints and everything. So,
well, I do like that little
faffing around.
I do like that flash on camera fill. I use it quite often. I'm always interested when I hear somebody going, "Oh, I never use my flash on camera because the flash is too close to the lens." But next week I'm buying a ring light. You kind of go,
ring flash.
Yeah, okay. Maybe you don't understand the whole terminology there. Nicely done, Jorge. Have they had the elections yet, Jorge? Jorge, are you out there? Yeah. I can't hear you, Jorge. Oh, no. Oh, that's terrible. All right. Let's see if we can get a better audio connection there. It's like a softbox or a window light to the back. It's kind of a everything in its place shot, and it's also a graphic. No, really bad. No, terrible connection, Jorge. It's terrible connection. You're sounding like it's stretched. No. No, not working. I'm going to have to. No, that ain't working, Jorge. We'll see what we can do here. Give me a call later, and we'll see if we can figure out the audio thing. Everything in its place, everything nicely done. Lots of space over here that I maybe left for type or what have you. Real simple, and the light makes everything almost look like it's floating. These things almost look dimensional to me. That's interesting. Interesting shot, Jorge. Well done. But I wish there was a feeling of depth to it. Maybe we could drag some cool over there. Getting all the exposures, you nailed that really well. Sorry about the audio connection. That's never good. And we have John Mather. Welcome, John. How are you?
Hello, can you hear me okay?
No, we can't hear you. Yeah, you're coming through fine, my friend.
Please don't tell me that.
How are you doing out there?
Oh, I'm very good. Bit tired, bit late over here.
I once had a conversation with a guy. He said, "Can you hear me?" And I said, "No, I can't hear you." He said, "How about now?" I said, No, not now." He said, "Oh, I don't understand. Why can't you hear me?" And I said, "I don't know." Finally, he kind of caught on that, well, to have a dialogue, I guess I'm hearing something, right? So we got a graphical shot here. John, I really like your hard light from the back. It's It's modern. It's very poppy on here. The green beans look great. But it looks to me like you got a light coming from the right side as well.
Yeah, that was a big 30 by 40 softbox to the right, a silver reflector to the left, and a 30-degree grid spot coming from the back,
just to
left,
kick,
scraping across the top of everything.
Yeah, just to
Just
kick
to
a
add
little.
some highlight across the whole lot.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to. I've got a couple of different make your own grid things that we're going to introduce here in a little while to this group because grids can be really kind of fun. I want to find out as we get through this next couple of weeks here exactly what people have for gear so we can start getting people geared up without spending tons of dough. John, this is really cool. Now, have you done stuff like this before?
I've done plenty of product shop, but never food. I'm not a stylist. That's where I really struggle.
Yeah. I'm going to post 2 books to this page, this critique page. I'm going to post 2 books to it for those of you guys who like to do it. Trust me, there's a 70% of the food stuff that's out there you can style yourself. I know lots of food shooters who do their own styling. What they don't do is the really high cuisine kind of plated food. That's where you really need a stylist. And anytime you're doing something with, souffles and stuff like that, you got to have a second pair of hands who knows what they're doing. But for something like this, peas and onions and stuff, yep, you can do it yourself. Nicely done. Folks, I'm going to switch the times. Next week, I have more of you at the 7 o'clock hour than I do at the 8 o'clock hour. So if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to move you to the 8 o'clock hour and move the smaller group to the 7 o'clock hour so that I don't have to rush through these things. Is there anybody that will be put out by that on the group? Just moving it back an hour? All right, cool. That really, really will make it better and make it so I don't have to blast through this thing because I have to go. I will talk to you guys soon. Watch for a post from me today. I'll put those 2 books up. I think you can get them anywhere in the world, but they're wonderful books if you like doing this. I am so proud of this Summer to Summer group. This is the hardest working group out there that I've ever had that started out this strong. You guys are starting out really super strong. I appreciate it. Thank you, and I will see you next time.
Thanks, Tom.